Good evening and welcome to the August 7, 2024 regular meeting of the Holland City Council. I'm Mayor Nathan Box and I'm calling the meeting to order. Brenda, would you please call the roll for us?
Yes. Byrd.
Present.
Freeman.
Here.
Raymond. Here. Corbin.
Here.
Soul. Rowan.
Here.
Shea.
Here.
Schultheis.
Present.
And Mayor Box.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. We're going to begin this evening, as we have for many years, first with an opening prayer this evening by Councilmember Vreeman, followed immediately by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we would invite you to join us if you're so inclined.
Ask of you to pray with me, please. Lord, we come before you this evening and we're grateful again for the gift of life that you've granted to each one of us, for the many opportunities that we've had to serve you throughout this day with our jobs, our families, and being a community member. We'd ask that now you would take this time and that we would be able to use it wisely, that we would honor you in our conversations, that we would be able to listen well, and that we would be able to respond appropriately. Thanks again for the opportunities that we get to serve in this community. And it's by your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Vreeman. Next item on the agenda are our consent agenda items. These are items that are considered to be fairly routine and have been reviewed by council members as part of our packet, and they will be enacted in one motion unless a member of the public or a member of council asks to have an item removed from the consent agenda, and then it will be placed in its regular order on the regular agenda. But before I ask that, Brenda, would you please review the consent agenda for us?
Okay, 4A, excuse the absence of Councilmember Soul. 4B, approve the minutes of the July 17 regular and July 24 study session. 4C, accept executed oaths of office. 4D, the 1055 Lincoln Avenue rezoning request with final adoption August 21, 2024. 4E, adopt a resolution for 360 special event liquor license. 4F, Michigan Municipal League Annual Convention voting delegates. 4G, traffic changes, parking restriction on 24th Street between State Street and Central Avenue. 4H, approve the purchase of 4 2024 Chevy Tahoes for Police Patrol Division. 4I, award a bid for storage area network solution replacement. 4J, approve the purchase of sidewalk plow concrete grinder tractor. 4K, declare items as surplus for transportation. 4L, approve the purchase of station alerting system for the Holland Park Fire Station from Westnet. And 4M, the delegates to the Municipal Employees Retirement System annual meeting.
Wonderful, thank you. Is there any member of the public that would like to have an item removed from consent and placed on the regular agenda? Seeing none. Any member of council that would like to have an item removed from consent and placed on the regular agenda? Seeing none there either. What is the pleasure of council in regard to the consent agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Moved by Vreeman. Is there support? Support by Schultheis. Any discussion? Seeing none. Brenda, would you please call the roll?
Okay, Byrd.
Yes.
Vreeman.
Yes?
Raymond.
Yes.
Corbin.
Yes.
Rowan.
Yes.
Shea.
Yes.
Schultheis.
Yes.
And Mayor Box.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Wonderful, thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Under the Open Meetings Act of the State of Michigan, we provide the public the opportunity to speak to council at our regular meetings, at our study sessions, and then also we have the opportunity at every one of our board, committee, and commission meetings. We do have guidelines that we ask you to follow. One is that your time is limited to 5 minutes. There are 3 lights on the dais. One light is green, means you're doing well on time. The yellow light means that you have 1 minute left, and the red light means that your time has expired, and we are strict about that. We do want to remind you also that this is one-way communication. It's the opportunity for you to be able to speak to council about what you think is important. You can speak on any topic that you like, but we don't answer questions during this time, nor do we engage in discussion. We ask that you come and approach the microphone and please state your name and municipality in which you live so that we know who it is who's addressing us. With that being said, is there anyone here who would like to address council at this time? If so, please come forward.
Ann Henriksen, Zealand.
Thank you.
I must summarize a beautiful event, the Pink Bus Tour of Concerned Women of America that occurred July 20th. They are touring the states with the theme, She Prays, She Votes. We are so pleased that they selected Holland for the stop. She leads Michigan/America, CWA, Moms in Prayer Groups, and our own National April Faith Month Committee made the arrangements. Andy Kenyon, Director of Parks and Recreation, in conjunction with Keith Verbeek, made sure everything we needed was supplied. Officer Joy Nelson and her daughter of the Polar Patrol graciously attended with the free delicious Hudsonville ice cream. We are very sorry that the mayor and the council did not attend to welcome CWA and national speakers. We are the only municipality in the United States that proudly celebrates National April Faith Month. We want to thank the park employees for doing the difficult task, getting the park in a presentable condition, including clean picnic tables. We especially want to thank the police department for the constant surveillance during the event. We had to request and be assured that all homeless men and women who occupy the gazebo be removed that Saturday before the pink bus arrived. You see, we often come on other Saturdays to pray in the park. The gazebo has blankets, profanity, and confrontations. We would often find dirty clothing, bedrolls, vomit in the restrooms. What can you do to address this problem with compassion? We see the distribution of drugs, people passed out on benches, and those walking stoned at 10 a.m. in the morning. In talking to them, some go to the nearby churches for showers and food as social justice actions, but seem to participate in the same day-to-day. Do you remember in the early 2000s when we could take a blanket to 8th Street, put it down on the sidewalk to reserve your spot the night before Tulip Time Parade, and it would still be there? Things, unfortunately, have changed in Holland. At last minute, Saturday, June 20th, a friend loaned us a needed cooler for the beverages for the catered lunch for the Pink Bus event. We never thought we needed to guard it. Unfortunately, someone stole it right before our eyes. The LGBT and the witches protesters showed up complaining about our patriotic Christian event. They settled their protest along River Avenue, where Chalk on the Walk was taking place for the children and adults. Is Holland supporting inappropriate and unnecessary behavior? Just curious, who is the council person over the Centennial Park District? Have you investigated these recent changes and unsafe issues? Last year, a council person commented about feeling very uncomfortable walking in the evening with his wife in Centennial Park because of unsafe behavior. Perhaps the public needs an update as to the needed effort to enforce the policies and ordinances of conduct and safety for visitors and citizens. Do we need a citizens patrol like the suburbs of Chicago? Another question, just asking, should the Human Relations Committee, DEI, financially support the efforts of the religious events in public parks, libraries, and the museum? How and where do we apply for such financial benefits? I'm not here to bludgeon you with petty failures. I'm here to petition you to take action to keep the promises you made in your ordinance. The parks and police departments can only do what your policies require. Since the anti-discrimination ordinance and the all are welcome here has invited issues you did not intend to happen in Holland. Letting them go is simply letting them increase. You are the people in the seats to decide. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address council at this time?
Annie Holland. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your service. I had prepared an expose of research going into greater detail of the dangers of the transgender and queer ideologies that push medical intervention. But by coincidence or divine design, I came across the American College of Pediatricians statement on gender, which exposes organizations which were once considered leaders in gender medicine and as now have been discredited. I will share their statement now. We have serious concerns about the physical and mental health effects of the current protocols promoted for the care of children and adolescents in the United States who express discomfort with their biological sex. This declaration was authorized by the American College of Pediatricians, but it was really developed from the expertise of hundreds of doctors, researchers, and other healthcare workers and leaders who for years have been sounding the alarm on the harmful protocols that continue to be promoted by the medical organizations in the United States. Despite recent revelations from the leaked WPATH files and the recent release of the final report of the CAS review, these medical organizations have not changed course. So we are calling on these medical organizations of the United States, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, and the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry to follow the science and their European colleagues and immediately stop the promotion of social affirmation, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries for children and adolescents who experience distress over their biological sex. In our declaration, we affirm that sex is a dimorphic innate trait defined in relation to an organism's biological role in reproduction, male and female. This genetic signature is present in every nucleated somatic cell in the body and is not altered by drugs or surgical inventions. Consideration of these innate differences is critical to the practice of good medicine and to the development of sound policy for children and adults alike. Medical decision-making should be based on an individual's biological sex. It should respect biological reality and the dignity of the person by compassionately addressing the whole person. We are here to defy the claim of organizations in the United States that those of us who are concerned are a minority and their protocols are consensus. Well, they are not consensus, and we are speaking in a loud, unified voice. Enough. So the rest of this will be my own closing remarks. As more and more exposure of this dangerous pathway reaches the public, the masses will no longer be afraid to speak out about what we are doing to our children. We've known all along, and it's now being exposed all over the world, that this is not a safe and viable life choice, especially for children, and we should stop promoting this as such in our schools, libraries, and public events. When you think about it, what kind of person would tell a child, based on a cursory observation, that they may be born in the wrong body? What kind of person promotes confusion, fear, and dangerous, unproven medical interventions to children? What kind of person thinks that public displays like drag and indecent exposure at pride parades are appropriate for children? What kind of person wants men and women's sports, locker rooms, and prisons? And I believe that none of you people in this room think that that's good for Holland or anywhere else. However, there are activists pushing this agenda everywhere, including those who are not from Holland, promoting these ideologies, especially during Pride Month. They can be loud, disruptive, and in many cases violent. I don't think they've been violent in Holland yet, but there is violence. In the past, the media has implied that Holland is a hateful place because people want to protect children from hypersexual public displays, inappropriate sexual literature in our libraries, and in our school curriculums. What do we have to do as a community to come together on this? We are heading in the wrong direction. Who decided that we were supposed to move away from protecting children and their innocence? We have worked long and hard for years and decades to put safeguards in place to protect children, and now it seems like this activism is trying to tear that down in the name of acceptance or inclusion. To me, it's all smoke and mirrors with an evil agenda behind it. It's about money, exploiting children, and people's own insecurities about their life choices. All children deserve to have their innocence protected from this dangerous cult-like ideology, and that includes children at risk who are even more vulnerable and children raised in same-sex marriages. There are many in that community right now that don't want their children pulled into this dangerous and destructive movement either. Thank you for listening, and I hope we can make a change for good and ensure the safety of our children in Holland and hopefully in the rest of our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address council at this time? Seeing none, I will close the public comment period. Next item on the agenda, item number 9, written petitions and communications. In addition to providing the opportunity for the public to address us in person here at our meetings, we do also have an email address where you can send public comments, and that email address is publiccomment@cityofholland.com. And we do read those in between our regular meetings, and in our regular meetings we accept them into the record, even though we don't read them out loud here at the meetings. And we do have one this evening, so I would entertain a motion from council to accept the public comment into the record.
So moved.
Moved by Vreeman. Is there support? Support by Schultheis. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Next item on the agenda, item 12, Echo 6.1, gifts. Brenda, would you please review the gifts for us?
Okay. The city manager's office is pleased to report the following gift. A $500 donation was received from the Kathy and Wayne Elhart Fund of the Community Foundation of Holland Zeeland area for Back the Blue. It's recommended this donation be accepted with appreciation, credited to the appropriate account, and an expression of gratitude be forwarded to the donor.
Great, thank you. What is the pleasure of council in regard to the gifts?
Accept the gift, move to accept the gift and express our appreciation.
We have motion. Do we have support?
Support.
Motion and support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, item number 13, communications from the city manager. Mr. Van Beek.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Just a couple things. We are having some audio problems, so we're not aware of that, right? But apparently the audio feed out into the universe trying to listen to us is apparently not working. So just so you're aware of that now, in case you get comments. I've already gotten a couple texts and an email. So sometimes that happens. So apologies. Maybe this was a good night for that to happen because we're already pretty much through our agenda. So that's one thing. Two, next week we will have a study session staff has been working on, and I've been talking to you about. We've been preparing some discussions and some directions that we're thinking on housing policy, and especially the new housing TIF legislation. So that will be the item on the study session agenda next week. We'll see when Matt's back kind of where we are and what the night's like. For those that are interested, maybe afterwards we can go out to the ice rink and kind of walk around and give you an update on what's happening there. At this point, we are looking at nothing for the 28th for the study session. And then the first study session in September, many of us will be gone at the MML convention. So I know I put that in my Friday communication, but just hitting that one more time. And then finally, maybe for those that are interested afterwards, I've been talking to a few of you about trying to fill out attendance for the Ambassador Academy. That will be Monday nights from 6 until 9 p.m., starting September 9 and going through November 11. So the goal there would be maybe to have one or two council members at each of those sessions. Certainly not a requirement or a ask or a need for you to be at all of them, but between all of you, maybe just trying to get one or two at each night. So I'll stay around after the meeting, and if it's convenient for you tonight, you can let me know, and then we'll start filling that out and communicate kind of where we end up on that in the coming weeks. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor, because I think you're going to say something about some fantastic staff work once again about the election.
I am. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is motions, communications from, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, question from Mr. Corbin.
Since we're having technical difficulties for public comment, can they submit their public comment to you so that it's for the record? Thank you. Just don't want anyone to feel disenfranchised by their public comment, so thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda, item 14, appointments and communications from the mayor. I had a whole long list of them, but since we don't have audio, I'm just going to do the one this evening. For those of you who aren't aware, but you all should be, we had primary elections yesterday, and our incredible staff and incredible volunteers did a great job and laid into the night. And so, congratulations, Brenda. And I don't know if this was shared with you or not, but the mayor received a letter about you. And so I'm not going to say who it's from because I don't have their permission to share that, but I can read the letter without divulging who it is. But it says, "Dear Mr. Mayor, I would like to thank Brenda Catterberg and Aaron Nyer for all their help and advice in preparing for this upcoming election. As a lowly volunteer, it's an honor to be working with your office and my hometown clerk's office. They do excellent work." So congratulations, not only from us who know well, but for those people that you are working with. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is there are a lot of volunteers and part-time folks that are out there to make sure that those elections run really well, in addition to the paid staff. And I just wanted to make sure that you got our appreciation for that and also knew that the public appreciates it as well. So thank you.
Thank you. We enjoy doing it.
Wonderful. And that is all I have this evening. Next item on the agenda, appointments, motions, and communications from council members. Anything from council members this evening? All right, there's just one more motion. I would entertain it this time. Mr.
Move
Vreeman.
to adjourn.
Moved by Vreeman. Is there support? Support by Rowan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Have a good evening.